Are you confused about the difference between income-based and income-restricted apartments in Section 8 housing? Well, you're not alone. It's a common question, but understanding it can save you a ton of money and stress. What if I told you there's a huge difference in how rent is calculated? And wow, eligibility plays a significant role. Let's uncover these details, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which option might be right for you. Ready? Let's dive in. When it comes to affordable housing under Section 8, the primary distinction between income-based and income-restricted apartments lies in how the rent is calculated and the eligibility criteria you need to meet. With income-based apartments, rent is directly tied to your income. It's typically calculated at around 30% of your adjusted gross income, meaning the less you earn, the less rent you pay. Wow, that's a relief, isn't it? The government, through HUD, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, sets specific income limits for eligibility, and if you qualify, your rent is adjusted accordingly. This is where Section 8 housing vouchers come into play. If you qualify for Section 8, the government covers the portion of the rent that exceeds your 30% contribution. Now let's talk about income-restricted apartments. Unlike income-based housing, here the rent doesn't change based on your income. The rent is set at a fixed rate but capped to remain affordable for low and moderate income tenants. Even though your income might increase, your rent stays the same, which can be a game changer. Eligibility for these units is also based on income limits, usually calculated as a percentage of the area median income, or AMI, such as 50%, 60%, or 80%. Once you qualify, the rent is fixed according to these guidelines, regardless of how much you earn. So, how do these two programs really compare? With income-based apartments, your rent adjusts based on your ability to pay, which can make life a little easier when times get tough. But with income-restricted apartments, rent is stable, which could offer more predictability over time. In both cases, the programs aim to make housing more affordable, but the way rent is set makes it the difference. Now let's dive a little deeper. The government subsidizes these programs in different ways. For income-based housing, the rent is calculated using your income, with 30% being the magic number. This percentage is based on your adjusted gross income, which includes wages, benefits, and other forms of income. The rest of the rent is covered by the government. But for income-restricted housing, rents are set based on market rates, and while they are capped to be affordable, they are not directly linked to your income. That's a key difference. You might be wondering, what about Section 8 Housing Choice Vouchers? Well, these vouchers provide another way to help low-income families pay rent. However, there's a catch. These vouchers are for use in non-subsidized rental, which means they don't usually apply to income-restricted or income-based housing. The good news? Income-restricted and income-based housing often has shorter wait lists than Section 8 vouchers, meaning you could get into affordable housing faster. Let's explore eligibility requirements a bit more. For income-restricted apartments, your household's annual income must be at least 60% or less than the area's median income, which varies widely depending on where you live. Imagine someone living in New York City compared to someone in a rural town in the Midwest. Oops, they'll have very different qualifications. On the other hand, for income-based apartments, the threshold is even lower, typically 50% or less than the area's median income. This means your income needs to be even lower to qualify for this kind of assistance. Another difference lies in how the properties themselves are structured. Income-restricted apartments are usually part of privately owned developments funded by local, state, or federal government programs. All the units in these communities are designated for low-income tenants, but with income-based housing, individual landlords participate and only a portion of the units, often 20% to 40%, are designated for low-income renters. And what about rent calculation? For income-restricted apartments, the monthly rent is determined by a percentage of the area's income, and while it's capped, it can fluctuate based on market rates. By contrast, rent in income-based apartments is calculated at 30% of the tenant's income, and the government picks up the rest. This means that income-based housing is more flexible, adjusting to the tenant's income, while income-restricted housing offers fixed affordability. So, which one is better for you? That really depends on your financial situation and where you live. If you need a bit more flexibility with your rent, income-based apartments might be your best bet. But if you're looking for a set, predictable rent, income-restricted apartments could be the way to go. Either way, both programs play a crucial role in providing affordable housing to those in need. Navigating affordable housing can be challenging, but understanding the difference between income-based and income-restricted apartments can help you make the best choice for you and your family. So, next time you hear about Section 8 or affordable housing programs, remember that not all affordable housing is the same, and knowing the difference can make a big impact on your financial future.